do you see then that the greater issue is not what's right or wrong with religion and acceptable or not acceptable, etc. The greater issue is, what is the understanding we need to come to bring a harmony between each other, every each other that we meet, come into contact with, or have influence with, and have influence with us. That's the real lesson. The presenting lesson is this discord regarding fake religion and so on, if you like, or religion and the secular world and the unfolding of history. But our primary concern has to be harmony with each other. For if we don't have that, don't understand that, well, we're never going to understand history, are we? We're just going to see certain behavior as inexplicable and evil and should be crushed, and who's responsible, where does the blame lie, what's the cause? The cause is in us. We need desperately this propensity to find a harmonious way of relating. In spiritual terms, I put it as we're being trained for the kingdom of heaven. There's no way you can let me into heaven at present because I spoil the place. I need to be matured in a spiritual sense before I could possibly enjoy heaven and life eternal without wrecking it and my own life as well. It's like when you come into a new country or a new situation, a new society or something. You need to gather quite quickly what are acceptable ways of behaving here. There's usually a kindness extended towards you when you're an immigrant. Oh, well, you didn't know. Well, of course, he's new here. Well, he's English, for goodness sake. It takes some time to adjust. It took me nearly 2 years to stop wearing a tie. I just like wearing a tie. I mean, Dad always wore a tie. I wear a tie, But here, no, it's... And I think rightly so. It's something elitist about it, something dominant, a bit like wearing a suit. It's a formality that does not put other people at ease. There's something to do with ranking and caste and the awful class system of Europe. Well, not just Europe, of course, India and so on and so forth. And it's been found to bring so much unhappiness in the world that we've tried to put something better in its place. Perhaps a meritocracy. Perhaps simply a wealth dimension. But that's not very happy in outcome unless the wealthy are very charitable. Yes. Right, and what is the harmony here? Here is to realize, along with Marshall Rosenberg, person I seem to be quoting quite a bit lately, non-violent communication, NVC as he calls it. We need to recognize that our needs are common. We have the same needs. And we can empathize with such needs of others when they're not being met. And want to put that right for their sake. And perhaps at some cost to ourselves. Not infinite cost to ourselves. Not possibly equal cost being borne by both of us. But some help. We want to go some way towards making their life easier, that my presence in their life is a blessing and certainly not a cost. So we are mindful, aren't we, of our reactions and behaviour towards those around us. We might call it compassion, kindness, charitability, I don't know what else, sympathy, empathy, forgiveness and understanding and, well, quite simply a more loving attitude. And certainly it's a question of degree and how much and when it's appropriate and when we're just being taken for a ride. We're being conned. I mean, there are reality complications in the world. The world's quite a complex place. But to have the right spirit, how do we gain the right spirit that looks for ways of bringing harmony and the happiness and the welfare of all? How do we gain that inclination? Well, a lot of it, I think, has been to have some perfect ideal in mind that we emulate, copy, move towards, value, lift up as an example of behaviour. And that has been, of course, in the past, the outstanding people in the religions of man. In the Christian setup, it's the saints and the story of the life of Jesus itself and so on, given as an inspiration to us that we too can be like this in some degree. Not that we are condemned by such example, but encouraged and helped and blessed by such example. To be a wonderful person, really, in other people's eyes, in our own eyes, and if God exists, in His eyes too. In fact, God is the personification of what we truly value, ideally. And if He's not, well, how could you love Him? Wouldn't make sense, would it? But if you do love Him, and He is the personification of what you value, well, you quickly find out by your actions and experience how to adjust your view of what's ideal and what's perfect and what you truly value. You learn quickly. Thank you, Heaven.